Ms. Alston, you've come to court to prove to the defendant, Mr. Holmes, whom you first met at the age of 15, that you are his biological daughter.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Holmes, you say there's no way she's your child, and today the DNA will prove your case. You say her biological father is David Alston, the man who is on her birth certificate and paid child support for her. So, Ms. Alston, tell us how you first found...
So she's accusing one man of being the father, but she already has another man paying child support for her, or who's already paid child support for her because she's grown now. And he's also on a birth certificate, but she's telling the daughter another man's her father. That's wild already.
It is.
All right.
Now the defendant might be your father.
Well, Mr. Alston and my mom were married. So as a child, it all started there. I grew up in a home with my mom with my 7 siblings. So one summer I was going outside to play, and my mom was outside talking to a guy, and when I walked up, he was like, tell her. And she looked at me and said, this is your uncle, this is your dad's brother. So I proceeded to meet the family, which is my younger brother, my grandmother, aunts and uncles, and they embraced me like if they knew me from day one. So I have always assumed that Mr. Alston...
Okay, so she was living with her mother and 7 siblings. Her mother has 8 children already, okay? Now, she's outside, and she sees her mother talking to a man, and the man says, tell her, meaning this came from the man. So the uncle said, tell her. So he already thought that he was an uncle, and he tells the mother to tell her. This is how the daughter even gets the information, is the uncle, so-called uncle, telling the mother to tell her. Now, she goes, meets the family, and they embrace her. She gained a whole family. Okay, thanks to this uncle saying, tell her. Wow. Let's go.
Was my dad, because his name was on my birth certificate. But at 15, she told me that Mr. Holmes can be my dad. He's always been a father figure to me from day one, even with the doubt.
Mr. Holmes, you don't believe she's your biological child?
No, I don't, Your Honor.
Why? Explain to the court.
Because Miss Alston's mother, back in the day, she was like fast. And because I met her at the school bus stop. She was in high school. And 2 days later, after I met her, I had sex with her. I called her again a couple of days later, asked her to come back, and we had sex again. So it was kind of like a booty call.
So this is the man on your birth certificate. This is the man you were...
Now, I want you to see this, ladies, okay? We always talk about the double standard when it comes to body count. Regardless if anybody has a double standard, I want you guys to see what happens when you don't practice discipline. It likely leads into the man not trusting you when you say you're pregnant. Now, in the beginning of this, he said that there was no way he could be the father. We know that's not logical because he just said he slept with her after meeting her, the second day after meeting her at the bus stop, called her back and he got some more from her. So it's not a no way. I mean, it's possible. Like, what do you mean no way, right? But because of the value that he doesn't see in her, he doesn't want the mother of his child to have that type of behavior. So he disclaims it simply because she was promiscuous. This is what you're putting yourself up against when you don't practice discipline, giving yourself up too early. You understand? Kings, his lack of discipline put him in that courtroom. Now there's a child out here that since 15 years old that she's been told, okay, that he's the father. He's been doubting that he's his father for this long now. I don't know how old she is today or how old she is on this video, but he's been doubting that he's the father, but being a father figure to her while he has doubt. His lack of discipline put him in that situation, family. Sleeping with this girl after 2 days. She likely was already pregnant. He slept with her after 2 days. If he had practiced a little discipline, he may have not even been in that situation. But so many of us just want to get a quickie. We want to get that feeling, and we're not thinking about our future selves. You should have value in yourself, King. If you have value in yourself, you will practice discipline because you ain't going to be putting your future selves in anybody. And ladies, if you got value in yourself, you will practice discipline because you ain't just going to let anybody put their future selves in you and you not know who the father is or the attributes of the father. You understand? Let's continue.
To believe for 15 years was your biological father, and yet you have no relationship with him.
Yes.
This is the man at 15 your mother told you really is your biological father, and yet he doubts that you're his biological child, but his family accepts you
Yes.
as the...
See, as you can see, she had no relationship with the father who's paying child support. She's getting monetary support from him, but not emotional support. So he's done nothing, they say. But he's paid child support, but they're saying he's done nothing. Due to this lack of emotional support, she brings a whole nother family into this crap. Completely unreal. Now, it might seem loving because she's trying to get her daughter a family. She's trying to get her daughter love from the other side of a family, right? The man's side, thinking that this may do some justice, and she probably sees some good virtues in this man. So why not go ahead and just make the connection, right? But you don't get to do that.
Sure don't.
The father of your child is going to be the father of your child. You don't get to try to manipulate your daughter into having a secure man in her life with these type of lies. You only destroy the whole family.
accepts you
Yes.
as their family.
Yes.
I stand here today and I have to ask you, Miss Austin, what are you hoping for? Are you
I'm
hoping?
just hoping that, honestly, I'm hoping that Mr. Holmes is my dad.
You are.
Yes.
Wow.
It has been...
Yeah, putting your daughter in a position to hope someone is her dad, to hope someone is, based on the emotional or at least the values or the times that he has shown her a father where the other man wasn't there. So now she's like, well, this other man he's on my birth certificate, and while for 15 years she thought this other man was her father, she is now hoping another man is her father. So I want you guys to imagine this. Living your life for 15 years thinking your father has abandoned you. He just doesn't show up. Now all of a sudden, now you still love your father, because as children, we don't let that go. Okay, we still romanticize the idea of our father. We still think about how much we have in common with them. We still hope that they're proud of us. We still have all these hopes, okay? I grew up like this. I know, trust me, I'm speaking from experience. Now, at 15 years old, you tell her another person's her father. She gets all this love from her family. Now she believes another man is her father. And she thinks her life is all together. But meanwhile, this father doubts he's actually even her father. So she goes from one father who's completely not in her life to another father who actually has fatherly virtues, but doesn't even believe she's her daughter. So she's constantly fighting for approval of the one that she does see. And the other one that she doesn't see doesn't even care enough to even see her. Imagine her value for herself, family. And all this is because of lies due to her mother.
Exactly.
She hopes this man is her father. Hope. Imagine hoping somebody your daddy.
Right.
Just come on, y'all. You hope another man is your daddy?
I'm hoping that Mr. Holmes is my dad.
You are.
Yes.
It has been determined by this court, Mr. Holmes, you are not.
And he's not even the father. Okay. Done brought the family into this whole thing. This girl got grandparents. That's her grandmother, so-called grandmother, sitting over there, right there with her right now. Has been playing a part in this girl's life, thinking that she had a granddaughter. Uncles thinking they're her. This is what I be talking about. You're not just lying to the man. You lying to everybody, family. Now, this man's lack of discipline, while he's not the major contributor of this, he still has to say, I am. This is a result of my lack of discipline. My whole family has been brought into this bull crap, thinking that this woman is my daughter. They all love her as if it's my nephew's niece, as if it's my grandmother's granddaughter. They all love her.
Yes.
And it's my lack of discipline that put me in this situation, man. We all seem to mirror the person that we bring to us. We are vibrating the same energies. If we're not practicing discipline, what makes you think you're going to vibrate a person to you that's practicing discipline? So he said that she was promiscuous or fast because she slept with him in 2 days. Then what was he?
Good question.
The carbon copy. He was the mirror image of her.
Yes.
He was the mirror image. Take away double standards. She was him. I am. And look at what's happening. Continue on.
Mr. Alston, you are not Miss Alston.
Oh my gosh, yo. Yo, do you see his face? He's shaking his head like, yep. Even though he hasn't even been there, he's shaking his head like, yep. I'm the father. And the shock on his face that he's not the father, even though he ain't even been in the child's life. What you shocked for? That all that money you spent? Because that's what it is. Because if you think a child is yours, you should be like crying or something. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. But let's see his response. He, number one, hasn't been there. But you can see in his mind before they even called it out, he thought he was the father. Mm-hmm. So you weren't in her life and you thought you was the father? Unreal. But look at his response. Let's see it.
Lord have mercy. Oh my God.
You can't believe the lies.
Sit her down, man.
Oh my God.
Sit down, Miss. Oh,
wow. Oh my God.
I'm so sorry, Miss Alston.
Even though he ain't been there, he can't believe it.
You know, you still got that stuff. That's some other fault.
Oh my God.
Ain't nothing changed.
Did you hear all that? Just that breakdown just now. The grandmother said, I'm still your grandmother." Good, crying, planning to still contribute to this woman's life, even though she's actually not her biological grandmother. And that's beautiful to be willing to do that.
Yes.
But man, for the woman's mother to put her in that situation is so cruel, because she could have been spending all that time loving on her real grandchild family, all because of lies. And you heard the other man say, "That's her mama, her mama." And the man said, "Ain't nothing changed." Even though it was 20-something years ago this done happened, right? They still believe ain't nothing changed, saying her character's still the same, right? But this happened that many years ago. But you see it. You met this woman in 2 days. You didn't know her. Meanwhile, she has 7 siblings, family. This is 8 children. Whoa. Listen, y'all. I had to insert this little clip, okay? She got 7 siblings equals 8 children, right? This child had 2 fathers that wasn't the father. So she had fathers to take care of each need. She had a father for the monetary needs. She had a father for the emotional needs, right? There's 7 more children left. I think there needs to be some question asked. Okay, now I don't know if they all have the same father, those other 7 children, but I think we need to start wondering about who are their fathers. You understand? Because we see how she is moving.
Absolutely.
She'll blame a baby on anybody.
Absolutely.
You understand? This little girl would have had like 7, 8 different daddies if you let her do it.
And completely available after 2 days.
I'm talking about.
So the likelihood that we have multiple prospects over the course of 7, 8 kids is highly likely.
Absolutely. Wow, family. I just wanted to come back and insert that.
Oh my God.
That's deep.
That
is deep.
That's
all right.
terrible.
Back to the original plan, but woo. So you don't know who you're sleeping with in 2 days. She's fertile as crap, and obviously she doesn't practice any type of discipline or protection. And neither do you. You see, and the other man, his lack of discipline, his laziness to get this DNA test earlier, cost him 18 years of child support.
Yes.
Cost his daughter at least 15 years of emotional stress, believing that he wasn't the father and he never should have been even looked to be a father. That little girl probably sat here and to the age of 15 mourned and wanted that man in her life, and he wouldn't show up. And he wasn't even the father to begin with. Think about this. Another clip I had to insert because I just thought about this. Okay, so he thought he was the father, right? Was not in the child's life at all, but finds out he isn't the father. So watch this, family. Just it's like a crazy like riddle, okay? Is it possible to be a deadbeat if you thought you were the father for many years, only to find out you weren't the father? I mean, when you thought you was the father, you still was a deadbeat though. So just like imagine like if this dude ain't got no more kids. He's probably like the only man in the world who's a deadbeat daddy and ain't even got no kids. I mean, even though he ain't got no kids, I still have no respect for him because he thought he had a kid and still wasn't in the child's life. So it's like, I mean,
That's funny.
I don't know. That's a tough one. Y'all let me know on that one. I think you're still technically a deadbeat. I think you're still technically a deadbeat because you thought this child was yours for all those years, and it doesn't matter. You understand? You be like, man, you a deadbeat. You be like, but it wasn't mine. And you be like, but still. I'm done for real. All right. Lack of discipline, family.
Goodness gracious.
Lies, propaganda,
Yes.
destroying our tribes from within. Meanwhile, look like you're an upstanding woman. The older this woman gets, she'll eventually become a grandmother. She'll even eventually become big mama if she lives long enough. Let's please make better decisions, family. Because as you can see, this can destroy families, literally destroy families. This is your future self. If you had another chance to raise yourself, wouldn't you put yourself in the best possible position?
Absolutely.
Pick the best parent for them if you can. If you got anything to do with it.
Yes.
Well, guess what? You got everything to do with it.
Yes.
Stop being frivolous with your damn loins, family. Be more intentional. Recreate your future self, family, with intent. Rise to your superior self and quit settling for your inferior selves, family. All right? Anything you want to say, Queen?
I'm disappointed. It's, a part of it is the mom is still, she hasn't matured still. She sent her adult daughter on a wild goose chase, knowing that there's possibly a third person who's the father. Why even tell her when she was 15 if you had all these possibilities, you know? And she went on national TV thinking at the very least it's between these two men, and now it's neither of them. That's humiliation. And as a mom, if you want her to find her father, just tell her who the people are that it's tell her the truth. It's just so much damage. It's so much damage. And when you are in a place to where you're willing to do that to your own child, you have to ask yourself, how are you to even do that and have it not feel any type of way?
And is it to escape accountability? I mean, what reason would you tell such a grave lie for that could affect so many people in the worst way? Why would you do that? And I hope from this you can see that your lack of discipline puts you guys in position to lie to avoid accountability. And that further is the problem. You keep saying it's a double standard when it comes to body count. But this ain't about cheating. This ain't about sex. It's about you lying to your child.
Yes.
See, you've already done the cheating, and yes, men do that too. But here's this new thing that only you can do. Lie to your child about the paternity of their father. See, that's why it's worse. Do you understand? Quit worrying about somebody calling you a name. You should have discipline simply because when you drop the ball in that specific area, you cause a hell of a lot more chaos.
Yes.
And you should respect your power in that area and stop doing that.
Yes.
And men, protect yourself. Okay? Be disciplined. Because if you let her have low value for yourself, that's exactly what can happen. You can spend 18 years paying for a child or contributing to another child's life emotionally and it not even be part of your legacy, lineage, or heritage. Your bloodline. It might not even be that. And your lack of discipline puts you in that situation. You understand, kings and queens? Be evolution. Be the change that you want to see. No candle loses its flame from lighting another. And if you were to ever find yourself in the middle of chaos,
It is in that chaos that you have found yourself.
think about this video. They found themselves in that chaos, didn't they? Whoo, it's
A whole
undeniable,
bunch
man.
of chaos.
But I always say, when you find yourself in that chaos and you realize that it's you, what can you do?
Rise.
You can rise. Never stay in your inferior selves.
Never.
Rise to your superior self. And you will quit leaving a trail of broken hearts. You understand?
Yes.
Peace, family.
Peace. Bye.